Could lactose intolerance actually have some beneficial side effects? Lactose intolerance occurs when an individual does not produce enough of the enzyme lactase, which is responsible for the digestion of the milk sugar lactose. Most mammals produce enough of this as they are growing up, but many humans have the genes that induce lactase non-persistence, which is essentially a diminished production of this enzyme as they age, meaning as they age they become more and more lactose intolerant. Some people, however, have the genes for lactase persistence, meaning they can produce enough lactase throughout their entire life, or at least most of their life, to adequately digest milk and not suffer with many of the unfortunate symptoms of lactose intolerance, which are almost primarily bowel related. However, this study in 1979 was one of the first that actually caught my attention. The Maasai are an African tribe in which about 41% of their diet comes from dairy products. However, in a representative sample of the Maasai, about 62% of them are lactose malabsorbers, and measured as having diagnosable lactose intolerance on a lactose tolerance test, indicating that despite milk being a very important constituent of their diet, many of them are still lactose intolerant, indicating there could actually be a potential advantage of passing down the genes for lactose non-persistence. This was the second study that really sparked my interest. They essentially found that higher milk intake in individuals who had lactase non-persistence was associated with a lower risk of type 2 diabetes. But this association was not found in those with lactase persistence, meaning those who could properly digest and absorb lactose. They then found that higher milk intake in those with lactose non-persistence is associated with alterations in the gut microbiome and alterations in the metabolites they were producing that appears to have benefits against the prevention of type 2 diabetes. My hypothesis is the following. Probably the easiest is the fact that lactose non-persistence radically reduces the amount of calories that you absorb from milk and other lactose-containing products. And because obesity is one of, if not the main drivers of type 2 diabetes, this radically reduced absorption of calories may help to reduce body weight and help prevent against the onset of type 2 diabetes. However, I want to be very careful and note, if you have lactose intolerance and are motivated to go drink a ton of milk because you won't absorb as many calories, understand malabsorption is associated with a myriad of micronutrient deficiencies. Therefore, doing this to excess on purpose may radically predispose you to the risk of a micronutrient deficiency. And if you have lactose malabsorption issues and you consume lactose, you should be very careful about ensuring you are getting enough micronutrients on a daily basis. However, the second thing is that when lactose is not absorbed by us, it is absorbed and metabolized by the bacteria inside of our large intestine. They produce a myriad of gases, one of the most important being hydrogen. The production of hydrogen within the gut microbiome is actually associated with better brain function, because this gas can permeate into the bloodstream and have a host of benefits throughout the entire body. And many believe hydrogen-producing bacteria can be thought of as super beneficial bacteria. In addition, molecular hydrogen appears to have benefits for the onset of type 2 diabetes, indicating hydrogen gas may be extremely beneficial for type 2 diabetes progression and prevention. And finally, when lactose is consumed in those with lactose malabsorption issues, they produce more short-chain fatty acids, which are associated with a myriad of health benefits, including reducing the risk of diabetes, metabolic diseases, obesity, cardiovascular disease, and liver disease, meaning that it may actually be the fact that we do not absorb lactose and our gut microbiome can absorb lactose and produce beneficial metabolites that allows lactose non-persistence to actually have favorable benefits for type 2 diabetes, and this trait to continue to be passed on even in tribes who consume a lot of lactose.